The chains that weighted the stars above were quiet, but deep within them hid a trap. The evil empire, known across the galaxy for capturing weak worlds, had set their eyes on Earth. They believed it was just another unprepared, backward planet, like all the others they had conquered. From their command ship, a tall, cold-eyed alien named Vlek watched Earth through the glowing screen. His voice was sharp and clear. "Begin the soft invasion," he ordered. "Send the message. Offer peace. Then close the cage." Earth's leaders received the message the same day. The evil offered protection, order, and a new place in the stars. But those who had studied other worlds knew this was a lie. They had seen the signs before. Where the evil arrived, freedom died. Cultures disappeared. Populations shrank. Chains followed, but this time, something was different. Captain Rayan, a human stationed at Earth's outer defense base on the moon. "Read the message again. They think we are like the others," she said. "They don't know what Earth really is." Her voice held a calm anger. Humans didn't forget history. Earth had known chains before: slavery, war, empire. But humans had broken free again and again. Earth was not soft. Earth was not afraid. The evil sent their first envoy ship, filled with smooth-talking diplomats. They landed in a controlled zone, expecting smiles and acceptance. But instead, they found silence. Rows of armored humans stood ready. A single man stepped forward, eyes cold as steel. His name was Tom. "We don't kneel," he said. The evil smiled politely, confused. "This is a new beginning. We offer unity." Tom didn't blink. "We already have that. Try anything and you'll see what Earth becomes when it's angry." The evil left that day, smiling still. But behind their eyes was worry. This wasn't how other worlds acted. Back on their flagship, Vlek reviewed the recording. He frowned. Why didn't they fall for it? Why didn't they beg? "They are different," whispered one of his aides. "Humans, they don't break like the others." Still, Vlek ordered the next step. "Begin Phase 2. Deploy the chains." Deep in orbit, giant ships dropped black pods into Earth's upper atmosphere. They were designed to shut down communication networks, power grids, and defenses. Then ground troops would follow, but something happened. The pods never reached the ground. Each one was intercepted mid-air, sniped, hacked, disabled, or burned. Human satellites had already marked them before they entered the sky. Earth had seen them coming. Rayan stood in the command center, watching the skies light up. "They thought we were behind," she said. "But we've been watching them for years." Earth had learned. Earth had prepared. And now, Earth was done playing nice. In one hidden desert base, huge hangars opened. Out came dark, sleek ships, not flashy, not large, but fast and deadly. These were Earth's shadow fleets. Built in secret. Designed for one thing only: to end invasions before they began. "They brought chains," said Tom, suiting up with his squad. "Let's break them." Above Earth, the stars began to move, not because the evil attacked, but because Earth was already sending something back. The hunters had become the hunted. And the evil were just beginning to understand. This time, they had picked the wrong world. First strike, last warning. The evil flagship hovered in low orbit above Earth, its black hull shining under the sun. Inside, Commander Vlek paced. Reports were pouring in from every corner of their invasion fleet: pod failures, signal loss, strange counterstrikes. Earth's response was faster, sharper, and far more coordinated than they had predicted. He turned to his aide. "Status of the suppression teams." The aide hesitated. "Wiped out, sir." "All of them?" Vlek froze. "All?" "That's impossible. We sent elite squads." "Yes, sir." "They never even made it out of the drop zones." Humans were waiting for them. Far below, in the dark woods of northern Earth, Tom's squad moved like ghosts through the trees. They wore no shiny medals, no loud armor. Just dark suits, quiet steps, and eyes that had seen war before. They weren't soldiers in the old sense. They were Earth's response teams, trained in silence, designed for speed, experts in everything from tech sabotage to psychological warfare. The first captured evil soldier stared up at Tom, bound and shaken. You're monsters." "Tom, Knelt down, voice calm. No. We are what happens when you try to chain monsters that have already broken free. Back in space, Earth's black ships had reached the evil's outer fleet. They moved without warning, one moment nothing, the next, coordinated destruction. Smaller and faster than evil cruisers, the Terran ships didn't rely on numbers or brute force. They fought like predators, one hit, one kill, then vanished again. One evil captain screamed over the comms, "They are inside the perimeter." How did they breach the shield net? The reply from the Central Fleet hub was grim. They didn't breach it. They built their way around it 10 years ago. The realization came too late. Earth had known the evil were watching. Earth had allowed the illusion of weakness. While the evil believed they had the upper hand, humanity had been preparing underground bunkers, skywatch networks, secret fleets, and defense satellites hidden as space junk. Humanity wasn't just fighting back, they were leading the war now. On the moon, Captain Ryan stood before a holographic map. Red dots blinked out one by one. Evil ships gone. Ground teams captured. The Earth's counterstrike was spreading like fire, they thought. We were prey, she said quietly. But we've always been the wolves. The evil's mistake wasn't just attacking Earth. It was underestimating Earth. In panic, Commander Vlek sent a transmission to Earth's leaders. His voice no longer carried pride. "This is a misunderstanding," he said. "Let us discuss." Peace. Earth didn't respond. Instead, a single message was broadcast across the entire evil fleet in their own language, calm, clear, and final: "You came to enslave us. You failed. Now you leave. Or you vanish." The evil fleet hesitated. Some captains began to retreat. Others tried to charge forward, but it didn't matter anymore, because Earth wasn't asking. It was finishing what had been started, and the stars began to burn. The fall of the Chainmasters. The evil had once broken worlds with fear alone. Their arrival was usually met with surrender, not resistance. But Earth had flipped the script. Now, the once proud fleet commanders shouted over open comms, not orders of domination, but desperate calls for help. "Shields failing. We are surrounded. They are inside our systems. They've taken the core. We can't breathe. What is this gas?" "Inside Earth's secret command base below the Arctic ice, Captain." Rayan stood before a live feed of the chaos in orbit. Each blinking icon represented an evil ship being disabled, boarded, or destroyed. No ceremony. No mercy. She turned to her crew. "We keep going. No warnings. No delays." They had their chance. Back in orbit, the Terran strike ship Iron Wind tore through an evil destroyer like a knife through soft metal. Inside, Tom's squad moved through tight corridors, neutralizing resistance with clean, quiet efficiency. Tom paused as he passed a display showing the evil's planned occupation schedule. Maps of Earth, chains and camps marked in red. He muttered. "They already thought they owned us." One of his squad mates kicked over a crate full of subjugation collars. "Not anymore." Tom raised his comm unit. "Ship secure. Send it spinning. Let the others watch." A moment later, the captured evil destroyer lit its engines, empty of its original crew, and began drifting toward the center of the evil formation. The other alien ships moved to make room, confused. Then the Iron Wind triggered its core to overload. The explosion was silent in the vacuum of space, but blinding. The shockwave shattered a cluster of evil cruisers before their shields even rose. The evil flagship shook violently. On the bridge, Commander Vlek gripped a railing as red lights flared across the ceiling. He turned to his aide. "Retreat. Signal the fleet to retreat. Earth isn't a target, it's a curse." But it was already too late. Terran stealth frigates had encircled them. New signals were detected. More human ships. Not large in number, but impossible to track, impossible to outmaneuver. Each one came with a message, spoken in perfect evil: "Leave now. This is your last moment above this world." In orbit, more evil commanders began to panic. One tried to run. His engines exploded. Another tried to hide on the dark side of the moon. Human satellites found him instantly. On Earth, civilians watched the sky as streaks of fire passed overhead, debris from evil ships falling through the atmosphere. The news spread fast. Earth was winning. Earth had turned the invaders away. In a small village, an old woman wiped her eyes as she watched a report on a cracked tablet. "They thought we'd fall," she said softly. "They didn't know we stood up long ago." Meanwhile, in the command room, Captain Ryan stared at the last blinking evil fleet beacon. It hovered for a moment, then disappeared. She took a breath. "They are gone," a tech whispered. Ryan replied, "No. They are defeated." "That's different." Earth had done more than survive. It had destroyed the myth of the evil's power. Across the galaxy, word would spread of humans who would not kneel, of chains that shattered in their hands, and Earth was no longer just a backwater planet. It was the new center of fear. The message that shook the stars, once distant and cold, now trembled with whispers of Earth. Word of the evil's crushing defeat spread like wildfire, faster than light across relay networks, diplomatic circles, black markets, and military channels. One word was on every tongue: humanity, not the fragile, untested species many believed, but a force that shattered empires and walked through fire without flinching. In the Council core worlds, high-ranking members met behind sealed doors. These were the rulers of trade, war, and diplomacy. For generations, the evil had acted as enforcers. Now that pillar had collapsed, they destroyed a fleet, one ambassador said in disbelief. Not repelled. Not negotiated. Destroyed. Another replied, pale and worried, and they let survivors escape. That's not victory, that's a warning. Across the galaxy, independent systems began to rethink their treaties. Planets once too afraid to resist now removed evil banners from their skies. Others began reaching out, not to the Council, but to Earth. On Earth, life was far from normal. Cities rebuilt quietly. The sky still held streaks of fire from falling wreckage. But pride burned brighter than any fear. At a secret base near the Andes Mountains, Tom and his squad walked through a long tunnel lit by blue-white lights. He had been summoned for a private meeting. In a steel-lined room sat a quiet woman in a simple uniform. She was no politician, she was part of Earth's true leadership. The kind that didn't appear on broadcasts. She looked up. "You did well." Tom nodded once. "They thought we'd be slaves." She replied, "Now they wonder if we are the new masters." Tom didn't smile. "We don't want to rule. Just to be left alone." She tapped her fingers on the table. "We are past that now. Too many watched. Too many want to test us. Or join us." Tom raised an eyebrow. "Join?" She slid a datapad toward him. Dozens of transmissions, some from outer colonies, others from unknown regions, refugees, soldiers, rebels, former prisoners of the evil. They want to come here. Or fight with us. They see Earth as hope now. Tom stared at the list. "That's a lot of pressure." She said simply, "We didn't ask for it. But we can't ignore it." Elsewhere in orbit, Captain Ryan stood aboard a Terran command vessel, now anchored above Earth. Below her, the planet looked peaceful. But she knew better. A comms officer turned. "Incoming message, Captain." From the remnants of the evil fleet. Ryan's voice was firm. "Put it through." The image that appeared was broken and flickering. "Commander Vlek, once proud, now hollow-eyed, I speak for what remains of our command," he began, voice slow and bitter. "We misjudged your world. We ask only that you do not chase us further. Let us leave." Ryan said nothing. "We surrender," he added. "The evil empire no longer exists." Ryan leaned forward. "And the prisoners on your other conquered worlds?" Vlek hesitated. "We will release them." Her eyes narrowed. "Not good enough. You'll return them, along with every record of your invasions and every name of those you took. Then maybe we won't come looking for the rest of you." There was silence on the channel. Then, Vlek bowed his head, the screen went dark. A low murmur passed through the command deck. For the first time, Earth had demanded something of an empire and been heard. Captain Ryan turned. Prepare a broadcast. All systems. All channels. What message, Captain? She answered without pause, this is Earth. We are free. And if you come with chains, we will break them every time. Asterisk. Chains melt in fire. Ryan's message didn't just echo across Earth's sky, it hit the galactic network like a thunderclap. Billions across the stars heard it. In mining colonies and hidden rebel camps, on fringe stations and prison moons. It played again and again, this is Earth. We are free. And if you come with chains, we will break them every time. To some, it was a challenge. To others, a spark of hope. In the ruins of a former evil slave station on the rim, ragged survivors, human and alien alike, gathered around a dusty, cracked screen. They had suffered in silence, waiting for help that never came. Now they watched Earth's ships descend like shadows. No symbols. No parades, just rescue. Inside one of the command centers, Tom stood at the edge of a hangar ramp. The air was thick with smoke and burned metal, but behind him stood dozens of Terran soldiers, silent, armored, calm. The enslaved were afraid at first. They had been conditioned to fear uniforms. But then, a little alien child stepped forward. She pointed at Tom's patch. It read one word in clear black letters, EARTH. She didn't run. She reached out. Tom knelt and offered a canteen of clean water. You're safe now. A roar filled the air, not of fear, but relief. Across the station, prisoners realized what had happened. The Empire was falling, and Earth had brought the hammer. In the inner systems, the Galactic Council scrambled to regain control. Debates turned into shouting matches. Old alliances fractured, they shattered the evil, one counselor cried. That fleet was the backbone of our deterrent. Another snapped, Earth must be brought under control. A third whispered, how? With what fleet? The humans just broke the only one that tried. Fear had crept in now. The kind that didn't fade with numbers or technology. Because Earth had done something worse than destroy ships, they had destroyed belief. Back on Earth, Rayan sat at a simple desk. She wasn't in uniform now, just a quiet room, a camera, and a direct link to the stars. This wasn't a military message. This was something else. Her eyes met the lens. We don't want war. We don't want territory. But if you take freedom from others, if you wear chains and raise whips, we will not ignore it. Earth has seen pain. We remember slavery. We remember invasion. And we remember rising. She paused. Then spoke the last line slowly, so if you come for us, come ready for fire. Because Earth will never kneel. In deep space, on a rogue evil colony, news of the defeat reached the last warlord still holding prisoners. He watched Earth's broadcast in silence. Outside, strange signals filled the sky. Fast. Precise. Human. The warlord turned to run. He never made it out the door. Terran soldiers burst in, swift and wordless. In less than a minute, the base was secured. No speeches. No celebration, only freedom. For the first time in generations, that moon knew peace, and on the wall of the command room, they left a symbol behind, a shattered chain, painted in white. The fire that spread word traveled fast across the stars. It wasn't just that Earth had defeated the evil, it was how they had done it. With speed, with silence, and with a fire that didn't burn cities, but burned away the idea that any world had the right to enslave another. In underground bunkers. In distant orbiting farms, in old starships drifting past forgotten moons, whispers became voices. Voices became oaths, and now those oaths had names, the Earth Accord. It started as a loose pact. Small worlds, scattered colonies, broken peoples, and free world traders began aligning, not through conquest or fear, but through one promise. No chains. Not ever again, and at the heart of it all stood Earth. In a darkened council hall aboard the Terran vessel Resolve, Captain Rayan sat with leaders from 7 newly liberated systems. Some looked nothing like humans. One had glowing feathers. Another shimmered like shifting water. All of them carried scars. And all of them watched her with the same expression, respect. A voice from the far end of the table spoke first. A tall, scale-skinned woman who had once led a resistance of only 12 fighters. We thought we were alone. But you came. Rayan nodded. Because we know what alone feels like. Another leader leaned forward. What do you want from us? Rayan looked around the table, firm but gentle. We don't want your resources. We don't want your land. We don't want your loyalty. Just your voice when the next tyrant rises. The feathered leader tilted his head. And if we are attacked again? You won't be, Rayan said. Because now they know we don't wait to be asked. Outside the council room, the Resolve drifted slowly through orbit. Below, a once-occupied planet flickered with new lights. Reconstruction had begun. No flags. No empires. Just rebuilding. Meanwhile, far from the center, in a hidden station near the edge of explored space, a small alien girl stared at a broken view screen. It was old, patched together with wires and rust. But the picture came through clear enough. A Terran soldier, helmet off, was speaking to a group of freed prisoners. His voice was calm. You're safe now. We are not your rulers. We are just here to help you stand again. The girl whispered, he's not like the ones before. Her mother, thin and tired, sat beside her. He's from Earth. The girl didn't know what Earth was. But she knew one thing: for the first time in her life, she felt like the future had light in it. In a military hangar deep beneath Earth, Tom stood with his team, weapons locked away for now. He stared at a wall lined with symbols, markings of each colony Earth had helped free. There were 20, then 30. They were running out of space on the wall. One of his squad mates, a quiet man named Dale, spoke. It's spreading. People are starting to fight back on their own now. Tom replied, that's the point. Not to fight for them. To remind them they can. Another added, but what if someone stronger than the evil comes? Tom looked at the stars on the screen, then we'll remind them too. And above it all, in the silence between systems, deep space shivered. Empires took notice. Hidden powers watched. Some prepared retaliation. Others drew back in fear. The old rules of the galaxy were breaking, and at the center of it all stood a blue world with a simple message: freedom is worth fighting for, and Earth would answer any call that tried to take it away. Earth's legacy begins. The galaxy had changed, not with a superweapon, not with a throne, but with a line drawn in silence, then shouted across the stars, no more chains. At Earth's orbital command station, Captain Rayan looked out at the growing Terran fleet. Ships once hidden in secrecy were now bold, marked with bright white insignias, a shattered chain inside a ring of stars. It had become more than just Earth's symbol. It was a promise. Her second-in-command stepped beside her. 37 systems now pledged to the accord. 2 more sent requests for help. Rayan didn't smile. She didn't celebrate. She just nodded, we answer. Across the galaxy, worlds once ruled by fear now flew flags of their own choosing. The evil homeworld, once a fortress, was quiet, its towers scorched, its commanders scattered. No Terran troops stayed behind. No human governors were sent. Humanity didn't conquer, humanity removed the boot and walked away, but the galaxy remembered. Oh, it remembered. Children in distant schools spoke of the Earth Rebellion as history. Songs were written in alien tongues, telling of the day the chains broke. Markets sold replicas of the Terran sigil. Even pirates began carving it into their ships, less for honor, more to avoid being mistaken for slavers. In a rebuilt port station near the edge of known space, a trader leaned across a table and whispered, you see that crew? Don't mess with them. They are Earth-backed. Terran military? Another asked. No. Just Earth-backed. That's all you need to know. Meanwhile, on Earth, Tom walked through a quiet memorial park. No statues. No weapons. Just a wide circle with names engraved in stone, human and alien alike. Rescued lives. Fallen friends. Those who stood up when they didn't have to. A little boy ran past him, laughing, wearing a shirt with the shattered chain symbol. His mother called after him, smiling. Tom watched them, silent. He'd fought in space, in jungles, in the dark corridors of enemy ships, but this was the victory that mattered. Behind him, Dale caught up. Orders came through. There's another colony asking for help. Tom raised an eyebrow. Another? Dale nodded. This one's different. Said they don't need soldiers. Just people willing to teach them how to live free. Tom smiled for the first time in weeks. I like that. On the edge of the galaxy, in places even Earth's name hadn't fully reached, the last slavers and warlords whispered in fear. Some packed up. Others changed tactics. A few disappeared completely because they knew now Earth didn't rule the stars, but Earth made one rule clear: if you try to enslave, you'll find humans standing in your way, not for power, not for territory, but because they remembered what it felt like to wear chains, and they would never let it happen again. Asterisk.